Welcome to my channel. In the previous video we have seen how to define static block, what is the syntax that we need to follow, as well as if the class is the combination of static block and main method, the JVM execution priority will be given to the static block only. That means the entry point for the Java program which is having static block and main method, the entry point for that program is static block only. Static block will be given first preference, after that main method will be executed. And coming to this video, in this video we will see what is the importance of static block. So the one of the most important point that is related to the static block is it is used to initialize the static data member. As like as static methods, with the help of static block also we can initialize the instance members. Let me go through one example. For example, within the class I have one static variable is there, which is in the class level static int a. Unfortunately, I did not assign any value to that a variable. Now we have the flexibility to assign some value for that static variable a with respect to the static block. Now how to define the static block? We can use static keyword and we can write block of statements. Within the static block we have the flexibility to assign some value to that static variable. Now let me try to assign some value to that static variable. The value that I am assigning here is 5. Now before going to assign that value, what is the value that we are going to get here? We will get 0. Why? Because the default value for the integer is 0. That is the value that we are going to get if we are not at all assigning some value to the static variable at the time of declaration. Now if I am going to print that a variable value in the static block, it will get 0. And after assigning some value, if you are trying to print it, system.out.println, now the a variable value will become 5. We can print it here as well as we can print it in the main method also. Why? Because it is a static variable, there is no need of object reference in order to access it. We can access it anywhere. It is shareable among all the objects of the class and we can use it at anywhere in the class. Now I am printing that a variable in the both static block as well as main method. Now if you are going to execute this program, the JVM entry point for this program is static block. Static block will be giving highest preference. Now within the static block, the first line itself is it will print the a variable value. Here the a variable value will be the default value of the integer 0, that will be printed. After that, what is the thing that we are doing here? We are assigning some value to that a variable. The value that we are assigning is 5. Due to that region, now the a value will become 5. With this, the static block execution will be completed. The static block execution will be completed and the control flow will be transferred to the main method now. Now within the main method, what is the thing that we are doing? We are simply printing one statement, sample class main method. After that, we are accessing that static variable. Already the static variable value is updated in the static block. Due to that region, the updated value of that static variable we are going to get here. Now the value of the a will be 5. The total output is 0, 5, sample class main method and as well as 5. Try to check it now. Java C sample.java Java sample 0, 5, sample class main method as well as 5. That's all. It is very simple. Like that, we can initialize the static variables with respect to the static block. This is not only the uses. One of the most important real-time uses of the static block is, so all of you please read this point carefully. So if you want to execute a particular portion of a class, I don't want to execute the entire class. Within the class there are so many portions are there, so many blocks are there. Some user defined instance block will be there. There will be a possibility of writing some predefined functions as well as user defined static methods and as well as non-static methods. Out of the entire context, if you want to execute the particular portion of the class from another class, it is better to mention that portion in the static block. If you are going to mention that portion in the static block, means we can access that portion with the help of one of the important statement in the Java, that the statement name itself is class is a class which is available in the Java. With the help of that class it is available in java.lang package, and within that class we have one important method, predefined method is there. The method name is forName, and that too we are accessing this for name method with the help of class name. That means this for name is a static method in that class, and for this we have to pass string as a parameter. Within the string, whatever the class particular portion that you want to execute, that class name we have to mention here. I think with this theory we are unable to get anything. Let me go through the example so that it will be very easy for you. Very important point in the JDBC and some other advanced Java concepts. We are regularly going to use this class.forName concept. That's why. So I will tell you what is the importance of this static block with respect to the class.forName. Now coming to the example, let me remove the previous code. Yes. Now all of you please observe. We have one sample class is there. Within the sample class we have static block is there as well as main method is there. We have static block is there as well as main method is there. Within the static block, the content that is available is system.out.println sample class static block, as well as within the main method the line that I want to provide is sample class main method. All of you please observe carefully, sample class main method. Okay, if I'm going to compile and run this program, as we already knew that first static block will be executed, that related content will be printed. After that main method will be executed, and as well as that related content will be printed. There is no change at all. So as we expected, we are going to get static block related content first. After that we will get the main method related content. Okay, fine. For example, I have one more class is there, that the class name is test.java. All of you please carefully observe. Within the test.java also we have one static block is there as well as one main method is there. If you want to compile and run this program as like a sample class, we will get static block content will be first, and after that main method related content will be getting second. So let me try to compile and run this program also. How to compile and run this program? Java C space test.java. Let me try to compile it. Successfully compiled. Now let me try to run it. How to run it? Java space test. So here the output is test class static block is executing first. After the test class main method is executing second. Everything is fine. Now I have two classes are there. Now the thing is, from the sample class, I want to execute only static block of the test class. I don't want to execute the main method of the test class. I don't want to execute the main method of the test class. I want to execute the only static block of the text class from the sample.java. Then how it will be possible means, we can use that statement class.forName. How to use it? Class is a class which is available in the Java. Within the class we have one static method is there, that the static method name is forName. For this class.forName, whatever the class static block that you want to execute, that class name we have to mention. I want to execute the static block of test class. Now we have to provide that test class as a string parameter for this forName. Now try to provide here test class. That's all. Now what will happen if you are going to compile the sample and if you are going to run this program? The output of this sample.java program is first static block will be executed. After that main method will be executed. Within the main method, the first statement is sample class main method, it will be printed. And next, the thing that we are doing here is, with the help of class.forName, we are accessing another class. The class name itself is test class, and that too within the test class I don't want to get the entire content. Here two portions are there in the test class. One is static block portion, another one is main method portion. I don't want to get the entire portion, entire class related portions. I just want to execute the static block of a particular class. For that, what we have to do is class.forName, that class name we have to mention. This line will give you, static block of the So this line will give you the static block content of the test class. It will execute the static block of the test class only. Now let us try to compile and run this sample program. Java C test.java Java test. Sorry, I don't want to execute test.java. I want to compile and run the java.sample.java program. Java C space sample.java. What is the problem that we are getting here? Here we are getting unreported exception. That means this class.forName will raise some exception. Why? Because there is a possibility of, for example, there is no class at all, like my class. Is there any my class is there in the editor? No, there is no my class editor. My class is available in this particular editor. So if you are going to face this type of situations, that means there is a possibility of raising the exception in this area. Due to that reason, this class.forName is always returning some exception. That exception name itself is unreported exception. The name itself is class not found exception. There is a possibility of getting class not found exception from this line. If the class is existing means there is no problem. If the class is not at all available means we are going to get the problem. Here my class is not at all available in this location. Due to that reason we are unable to get it. At that time it has to catch that error. Due to that reason only, for this class.forName it is always rising class not found exception. Now what we have to do, we need to handle it with the care. So in order to handle it, I don't want to handle it with the help of try and catch block. Let me try to throw the error message. Throws exception. That's all. It will be taking. Why? Because we are providing class.forName line within the main method. Then main method will be taking care about if is there any possibility of getting the error means it will throw that exception related error message. Now let me try to compile the program now. So let me try to change it. Test. The class name itself is test. Now you will not get unreported exception. Java C sample.java compiled successfully. Try to run it. Java sample. What is the output that we are getting? Sample class static block will be executing first. S. Next sample class main method. Yes, it is printing. Next test class static block is printing here. Whatever the content that is available in the test class static block, that entire content we are getting with the help of class.forName methodology. Very important. So this entire line will give you the whatever the class name that we are providing as a string, as a parameter, that class related static block content will be executed. That class related static block content will be executed and that content related information will be printed here. It is the beauty of class.forName with the combination of static block. So this concept we are going to use it in advanced concepts like JDBC, servlets and JSP. So it is better to remember this methodology. But one thing you have to follow, at the time of using the class.forName, there will be a possibility of getting unreported exception. Why? Because if the class name is perfect means there is no problem. For example, unfortunately I made the mistake. I am assuming that I have one test class is there, but unfortunately I made the mistake here. I am providing T as a small case letter. Then what will happen? Without handling that particular exception, we are going to get the problem. Due to that reason only, so here if you are going to observe exception in the thread main, that the exception name itself is class not found exception. What is that class? Test. Then you will have the flexibility to modify that mistake. What is that mistake? We have to make it as tcap. That's why whenever we are going to use this line, we have to put it in try catch block. Otherwise we have to throw some exception which is related to that particular methodology. With this, I think you got the complete clarity regarding how to use class.forName context in order to access another class static block content. Thank you Ananda. With this I am going to end the session.